Before we get into today's video, please make sure you go ahead and leave a like on this video to show your support. Please as well, make sure you go and comment and let me know your opinion at the end of the video. And also, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already to be up to date with all our videos as well. And please click ahead the notification button so you're notified whenever we upload. And lastly, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Hello and welcome back to another video on the Rugby channel, and today we're going to be talking about something quite interesting. We're going to be talking about who I think should be having the Rugby World Cup in 2027. Yes, it's a hell of a long way off, but I think it's still quite a cool discussion, because not long after the New Zealand World Cup we had the announcement of who was going to be hosting the 2 tournaments after. Obviously we had London afterwards, and then we had Japan. So, I mean, not before long, it's going to be announced, probably early next year, so we may as well go ahead and look at it, as we're only about 8 months off it. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about who I think should have the vote for it. Okay, so the first city we're going to be looking at, country, is going to be America. Here's a logo that I have designed for it. I mean, potentially America could offer a hell of a lot to the World Cup. You have the money, is definitely there. You have all the sponsors. You have the cities. The stadiums are already there because they play them for the NFL. The fans are there as well. I mean, having a major tournament like that in rugby over in the States, it would probably be massive for the country and the game over in America as well. Because America are slowly growing as a rugby team, and you do feel if they promoted and hosted the World Cup, rugby would probably catch on a hell of a lot more in the States. And yeah, I mean, overall it'll gain popularity. I'd imagine the crowds that would turn up to it would be quite high as well. Tourism is already high in America as well, so numbers isn't going to really be a massive big deal, because the stadiums probably will reach a massive capacity of crowds. So, I mean, America is a realistic option if they were to put a bid in for the World Cup. I mean, personally, as I said, this probably would be one of my favourite ones as well, because you have all the cool cities like New York, New Orleans, Las Vegas, all of them. And yeah, I mean, we already have the Sevens over there as well, and that's a massive hit. If you've ever seen a live game of that on telly, or you've been to it, it's very, very popular in the States. And the men's 15s tournament is slowly growing, as well as, they have their own league over there as well, and that's growing as well. So, as I said, a World Cup wouldn't be out of bidding. I mean, I'm sure America would be interested, but whether they actually bid for it, I don't know. But I would say this would be one of my favoured ones out of the options I'm going to be listing today. Okay, so our next country we're going to be looking at is Brazil. I think Brazil would be quite a good option as well, because it could be, it would be like a summer sort of tournament. It would be starting in September, obviously, and you would have nice weather in Brazil. You have the coastline. Tourism is already high over there as well, and Brazil are slowly coming into the rugby world, and having a World Cup like this may really catch on with the Brazilians. And yeah, I mean, it could be a massive game changer for rugby over in Brazil. I don't think they get a massive crowd over in that side of America with rugby. It's probably in the few hundreds per game. So by having a tournament like that where you have the All Blacks, England, Ireland, Wales, everybody playing over there, it could really catch on, and you would get a hell of a lot of crowds, as well as a lot of people love going down to South America, because you have all the sights, you have the weather, you have the beaches, you have Rio de Janeiro, and yeah, it's one of the most popular cities in the world. So to not have a Rugby World Cup in Brazil, I mean, it wouldn't really make much sense. So, I mean, realistically it's not going to happen, because I can't really see Brazil putting a bid in for the World Cup. But if World Rugby wanted to catch on about promoting rugby around the world, I think Brazil would be a massive target. Yeah, it's covered in soccer fans, or football, what we call it over here. But again, like, change is inevitable in history, and it could happen. So who knows? Personally, a Rugby World Cup in Brazil would be pretty awesome, to be honest. If you enjoy traveling as well, because you get to see all the sights and everything, and you get to see, your team over there as well. So I don't know, it would be quite cool. And my final option then, which I would like to see a Rugby World Cup bid put in, is for Georgia. Again, this is a logo I designed myself. It's probably one of the better logos I've designed. It looks official, doesn't it, really? But yeah, Georgia would be quite a cool World Cup, but whether they could actually bid for it, I don't know, because they're quite a small country. They're kind of like Wales and Scotland and stuff. You wouldn't really be able to handle it by yourself. But yeah, it would be quite a cool place. Tbilisi is a lovely city, and there's plenty of history and sites and everything to see for tourists going over there if they did have one. Again, whether they have the stadiums for sheer size of the tournament, I don't think they would actually be able to handle it. But again, it would be quite cool. Even if they did a partnership sort of thing with a country next to them, it could work easily, and it'd be promoting the game, which is already popular in Georgia as well, but it would be promoting it even more with more fans. And yeah, overall it wouldn't really go wrong. It seems like a good choice as Georgian fans as well, because they love rugby as a game, and to be able to have a tournament like that. I know they had the under-20s World Cup not so long ago, and I'm pretty sure that did quite well. Obviously the World Cup would do a hell of a lot better, but yeah, I mean, if they did do it, it would be quite a cool outcome for them. So out of these three options, who do I think would host the best World Cup? Well, it's quite a tough one. I mean, Brazil would offer something completely different because you'd have the beaches and the coastline and all the scenery. Georgia would offer its history and shore like culture and everything, and America would offer much better branding, money and investment. So my option is actually going to be for America to be hosting it, because I just feel the branding and everything is there for them, as well as all the cities, the facilities, the money. I mean, like, look at the pure options you'd have for companies. I mean, you'd have DHL, which is already a sponsor. I don't know if it's American, it might be Canadian, but either way, it's still a massive sponsor. Coca-Cola might get along an investment. McDonald's, Bud Light, Nike, these are all massive sponsors for the NFL already. And you do feel if you have a sport, especially a World Cup of that popularity coming over into America, these sponsors might catch on, and overall it'd be massive money going into the game, and it would be pretty amazing to see. I mean, all of us as rugby fans could also say as well, wouldn't you just love to go watch, I don't know, say the All Blacks versus Ireland in New York City? How awesome would that be? You'd be able to stay there overnight in Manhattan or whatever, go to watch your game the following day, chill out in New York, and then you could end up going to Las Vegas the next one to go watch another game in the group stages. Like, how insane would that be? So overall, I think America would be an amazing World Cup. I mean, we don't want to see main nations hosting it, because we've seen that anyway. We've seen New Zealand host it, we've seen South Africa, we've seen England, France. I mean, Japan is going to offer something completely different, because it's a nation that came into the rugby world only recently, and it's slowly growing over there. And this Rugby World Cup this year is going to be promoting rugby over there so much. So having it in another nation such as Brazil, Georgia or America would just make it grow even better. And I would say out of the three I've said today, America seems the better option, as I said, because by the time the next World Cup comes, it could be a massive sport over there, and then having a World Cup would make the game over there grow up so much more. So what do you think of my options, guys? Personally, I preferred the logo that I made for Georgia, but it seemed more obvious that America would be a better bid for the Rugby World Cup. But let me know what you thought. Do you think I've missed a nation out that you would want to see host the World Cup? Or would you go for a different choice that I've come up with today? Let me know in the comments. It's great hearing from you. Please also leave a like and show your support for this video. A lot of work went into it with the logo designs and everything, and I'd really appreciate it if you did like the video. As well, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. We're gaining a lot of subscribers lately. Although we have dipped a little bit, the subscriber count has seemed to slow down a little bit compared to previous months. But maybe it's just a slow month, who knows. So please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and try and make this little community grow into so much more. And also as well, if you haven't seen them already, I do videos every single week. And I've also got a series going on at the moment, which is 5 Kit Friday, where we look at every single kit all around the world, in the rugby world, all the way up to the build-up of the Rugby World Cup. So if you haven't gone and seen that, please go ahead and check that out as well. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I've been Andrew, and I will see you in next week's upload. Peace out, guys.